Hey everyone, Gargudon here, and welcome to this new video in which we will talk about the expanded universe of Assassin's Creed. First, what is the expanded universe? To explain it with simple words, the core of the franchise consists of several, in quote signs, main games. From these, Ubisoft have over the years released several works belonging to Assassin's Creed on various platforms, such as novels, comics, short films, games, and so on. These side products are what the Assassin's Creed Extended Universe is mostly made of. This is also what sets Assassin's Creed apart from other game series. It is a transmedia franchise. We could compare it to Star Wars, which has main films, as well as plenty of side stories that have been released in different ways over the years. So, why are we making this video? That is because with the release of all these products, the Assassin's Creed universe has been enriched over the years, and there are now tons of new stories that some fans may not be familiar with, and with all the release stuff, it may be confusing for some fans to know where they should start in the franchise, what is essential, etc. So we thought it would be a great idea to showcase the less known products. Hopefully it can make you viewers want to extend your Assassin's Creed experience on other platforms. First, I'll mention expanded universe works that are strongly linked to main entries, thus rather essential if you want to further your console or PC experience. Then we'll look on to products that aren't really close to any game. Their advantage is that they bring a breath of fresh air by being centered around new characters and plots. Some of them are even making the modern day move forward and contains brand new narrative arcs. So if you want to be prepared for what's coming next, it might be some interesting stuff to look at. Now, that's everything explained, and with that said and done, let's get into the expansions. To start off, we are going to talk about the short films. There are 3 of them. We have Assassin's Creed Lineage, Assassin's Creed Ascendance, and Assassin's Creed Embers. All of which are focused around Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, aka the Ezio trilogy. We have Lineage, which takes place a few days before Assassin's Creed 2 and introduces Giovanni Auditore da Firenze, Ezio's father. We have Assassin's Creed Ascendance, which presents the political context in Rome right before Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and explains how Cesare Borgia rose the way to power he did. And then finally we have Assassin's Creed Embers, which probably is the most known of them, and I'm sure most of you have seen it, but it's about the final days of Ezio Auditore da Firenze, aka Ezio's Twilight. Moving on, let's talk about the novels from Oliver Bowden. Those are pretty much video game novelizations with deeper character development, but some of them are much more than just that. Renaissance, Brotherhood, and Revelations are simple adaptations following the events of the games. But the other novels are much more interesting. The Secret Crusade tells us the story of legendary master Altair ibn La'hat from his childhood to his death, including major events that were not presented in Assassin's Creed 1 or Revelations. Assassin's Creed Forsaken, which is considered by most fans to be the best Assassin's Creed novel, tells the tragic story of Haytham Kenway and is clearly a must-read if you are a fan of the Kenway saga. Black Flag goes deeply into Edward's life and shows us the major events of his life which occurred before the game. We get to know more about his relationship with his family, with Caroline Scott, and where his desire for sailing comes. It also shows us the events of Black Flag and a little bit of what happened then. I guarantee that if you didn't like Edward, you will change your mind after reading this novel, and if you like the character, you will love him even more. Assassin's Creed Unity is a very interesting novel for those who like Elise and would like to know more about her own story. This book is about her past, her relationship with Arno, etc. It is also linked to the Kenway saga, but shh. And finally, we have Assassin's Creed Underworld, which is dedicated to Henry Green, the master assassin from London from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The action takes place 6 years before the events of the game. This novel actually has other point of view characters in addition to Green, but no spoilers. It is set before and during the game. And that's it for the novels. They are all very well written and super cool companions to the games. They are truly add-ons to their respective games, even though the Ezio ones are the least original. Now let's talk about the comics that are linked to the games. There are 3 of them. We have Subject 4, which is a compilation of The Fall and The Chain. Obviously those are about the famous Subject 4, Daniel Cross, a crucial character in the modern day who was, I think, deserved more screen time in Assassin's Creed 3. But anyway, it's a great product. Super interesting if you want to know more about this character and his ancestor Nikolai Orlov. Then we have Assassin's Creed Brahman, which is dedicated to Abbas Mir, Henry Green's father. And just like for Subject 4, there is a whole modern day plot which is super interesting. The art is beautiful, the story is great, it's definitely a must-read. And finally, we have Assassin's Creed Reflections, which is a 4-part series created for the 10-year anniversary of the franchise. Each issue tells one short story about some of the most famous assassins of the saga. The first one is about Ezio Auditore da Firenze, the second one is about the legendary Altair ibn La'hat, third one is about Mr. Edward Kenway, and the last one is about Radon Hagedon, more simply known as Connor. These stories are quite short and not that important, but they can be a cool add-on if you want to spend more time with one of your favorite assassins. There is also a manga series called Assassin's Creed Awakening, which is a spin-off to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. The main protagonist is a descendant of Edward Kenway and is looking for the observatory. There's apparently a modern day story as well in this one, but I haven't read it, so I don't really know if it's worth it. But if you like manga in general, this might interest you. We then have what we call special books, in quote signs. They are no novel or comic, and there are actually 2 of them. Assassin's Creed 4 Blackbeard, The Lost Journal. It is an authentic looking pirate journal that includes drawings, glued torn pages, maps, ship logs, and much more. It also develops a bit more the friendship between Edward Kenway and Edward Thatch. Assassin's Creed Unity Abstergo Entertainment New Employee Handbook. This book is like a roleplay book in which you are supposed to be a new employee at Abstergo Entertainment, and you have access to a lot of secret files and beautiful artworks. You also get to know a bit more about Arno and Assassin's Creed Unity, which is a really good companion if you enjoyed this game. And to conclude with this first part, we're going to talk about the 3 Chronicles games. We first have Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, in which we play as Xiao Yun, the character we see in the short movie Embers. We have Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, in which we play as Nikolai Orlov, Daniel Cross's ancestor, again which we saw in the Subject 4 comic book. And finally we have Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, in which we play as Abras Mir, which again is the father of Henry Green and can be seen in Abraham. It's very cool to see that characters from comics can be seen in other media such as the Chronicles games. I really like when stories are connected between each other, but anyway, that's it for our first part. Now let's talk about the recent products, which are more independent stories from the games, developing the conflict between the Assassins and Templars in 2016, and also making the modern day story move forward, especially the comics. Let's start with the novels. We first have Last Descendant, which is a young adult novel series which follows the story of Owen and a bunch of other young people who will be introduced to the world of the Assassins and Templars and will eventually go into the Animus. This series is really interesting as it's about young characters. It brings some freshness. We also get to discover a new concept from the Animus, which is the concept of shared memories, which is really fun. And we also have funny and enjoyable hints at Easter eggs to previous games. We have Assassin's Creed Heresy. Assassin's Creed Heresy tells the story of Joan of Arc, the famous French figure who, according to the puzzle glyph of Subject 16, was in possession of a piece of Eden. And this novel is one of the best of the Assassin's Creed franchise. From the modern day to the sequences in the past, everything is so well executed. It's a must-read if you want to know a bit more about what happened before the Assassin's Creed movie, and if you're interested in how the pieces of Eden influenced the course of history. And finally, we have the Assassin's Creed movie novelization, which contains a few extra scenes developing some of the assassins which were imprisoned in Abstergo. It may be interesting if you want to rediscover the movie. Obviously, we have the Assassin's Creed movie, which perhaps is the biggest project of the expanded universe to date. Following the events of Assassin's Creed Heresy, the Assassin's Creed movie shows us the story of Callum Lynch kidnapped by Abstergo in order to retrieve a piece of Eden. Concerning the comics, first we have Assassin's Creed Last Descendant, Locus, which is connected to the Last Descendant series we talked about earlier again. It is really cool to see the connection between stories. We also have a series called Assassin's Creed by Titan Comics, in which we follow the adventures of Charlotte de la Cruz, who is like the new Desmond Miles. She will be introduced to the world of Assassin Templars and she will struggle to find her place in it. In this series, we get to see new faces, but also old ones. I'm particularly thinking about Galena, who was first introduced on the Assassin's Creed Initiates platform, then in Syndicate, and who is now a crucial character in the series. In parallel, we have another series by Titan Comics called Assassin's Creed Templars. It is a series which takes place in the same timeline as Assassin's Creed, but here obviously we change side and follow the Templars. But this series introduces the concept of the Black Cross, which is super interesting. I don't want to spoil it, but I highly recommend you take a look at this series, especially if you are a fan of the Templars. Concerning the Assassin's Creed and Templar series by Titan Comics, you have to know that as we speak they both ended, but they continue in one single ongoing series called Uprising. So yeah, Uprising continues after the events of both the Templars and the Assassin's Creed series, with the same characters, but this time it focuses on the ongoing Phoenix Project storyline. This new series is meant to end this arc of the modern day, so it might be interesting to read. Especially since this series introduces new interesting concepts and characters, such as the son of Desmond Miles. Finally, there is a new French comic series called Assassin's Creed Conspiracies, which will follow an assassin who influences the course of history in 1943 during World War II. It's super interesting for those who always dreamed of seeing an Assassin's Creed game set during this era, but I think you guys will have to wait for an English translation. Alright guys, I think that's it. You now know pretty much everything about the expanded universe of Assassin's Creed. With all these products, I'm sure you will find something for you. If you have any questions, comments to make, feel free to do so in the comment section below. Other than that, see you soon, Assassins. See you, folks.